aren't doing enough. If you were a better daughter, mother, spouse, or friend, you'd be able to meet all of your loved ones' needs. You wouldn't get frustrated or angry. You wouldn't be tired. You wouldn't feel resentful because you find yourself in this role. You would know how to anticipate your loved one's needs before he or she could say what they are. You'd be loving, thoughtful, insightful, and perfect. And you would not be real. The caregiver role has the power to evoke many strong emotions in those who are trying to fill it, and the negative emotions that come up create a heavier burden for those trying to carry it. You may feel guilty because you're not living up to the standards of the perfect person. You may feel angry, unappreciated, and resentful because you never asked to be put in this position and you resent it. You worry. What if my mom falls, or my dad doesn't eat right, or my daughter doesn't have the money to pay for her treatment? You're grieving. You're losing someone you love, and you know how this is going to end, and you're scared to death. And you feel guilty for thinking about these things while your loved one is still breathing. What kind of caregiver are you? A human one, a real caregiver, a loving child, parent, spouse, or friend. So let's consider setting some boundaries. Dealing effectively with caregiver guilt, in addition to the anger, resentment, grief, and worry that goes with it, requires some thoughtful consideration of your personal boundaries. It's not your duty to be all things to your loved one. No single person can do that. But you can, within the limitations of your own abilities, desires, and burdens, be the best caregiver that you can be. How do we do this? First, we can identify the source of our guilt. What's making you feel like you aren't enough? Recognize that you aren't perfect and that you have to adjust and sometimes lower standards to fit the reality of your time, energy, and resource limitations. Take an inventory of all the things that you do well for your loved one, whether others acknowledge it or not. The answer isn't to take on more tasks as a way to reduce guilt. The goal is to recognize that we all have limitations, and that's okay. Address your resentment by asking for help. You may feel resentment toward others for not seeing all that you're doing or appreciating the sacrifices you're making. You watch as they go about their lives seemingly unconcerned with how difficult it is for you. Well, then outline tasks by creating a list and ask for help. And be willing to accept the help they give, no matter how imperfect it might be. Don't swallow your anger. Manage it in healthy ways. Unresolved anger finds a way to infect many aspects of our lives. When you feel you're losing control of your temper, walk away or hang up, or mentally check out and focus on calming your breathing. Face your worries head on. Worry allows us to believe that if we just think about our problem over and over again, somehow we're going to be able to control it. When worry sets in, give yourself a set amount of time to think about it and then deliberately put yourself into a task that demands your attention. And if the worry becomes excessive, consult with a mental health professional to help you work through the issues. Express your grief. Grief is a normal reaction to loss, and caregiving represents a significant loss in our lives. Our loved one may not be the person he or she was before. Grief shared is often easier to bear, whether it's through comforting conversations with friends, attending a support group, or using expressive arts to direct negative emotions to positive outlets. So here's a caregiver tip. Think about an emotion that you're dealing with right now. Then identify one action that you can take. Put boundaries on that emotion, such as deep breathing to calm yourself, or limiting the time that you'll allow yourself to worry about a problem. Then practice it once a day for the next 7 days. Commit to a specific time in your day to devote to the action and follow through with this emotion work. By setting boundaries, we take control over the things that threaten to consume us, but it does take practice. For example, many of us worry about the current and future health of those we love. But rather than worrying about it, we can gain control by making plans ahead of time for their health care. Our next video in the Family Caregiver series will help you to do just that.